We begin by heading south to St. Louis, the gateway to the West. Here you'll find impressive archways, wonderfully terrifying children's museums, one of the nation's largest city parks, and delicious, gooey butter cakes. But let's not get too distracted this early on, and instead, make our first stop.
The museum. There are probably, I'd guess, 4,000 or 5,000 lists there. I'm Bill Kagi. I guess I'd call myself a designer and photographer, and a collector, maker, and breaker of things.
Based out of his home, Bill Kagi runs the Grocery List collection, perhaps the largest accumulation of found grocery lists in the world.
The list collection started, it was probably 1997. I was leaving a grocery store, saw a slip of paper on the ground. It was a yellow Post-it. There was nothing special, nothing unique, nothing actually interesting about it, except that it was once theirs and now it was mine. I like projects and things that look at the details, the smaller things that are usually ignored.
And so, Kagi decided to make the leap from curious to curator.
The collection just kind of took off from there. I mean, I started finding more. Friends found them, friends of friends found them. They would get passed along to me. People started emailing, asking where they could send their lists.
From those few hundred lists, Kagi decided to launch his museum online at grocerylists.org.
I set up a way for people to easily submit lists. People have just jumped on and get really into sending me, finding them and sending me and pointing out which ones they think are awesome. Gin and candy for work. Yes, this whole bag here, packages from people. I think the first thing is it's voyeurism probably. It's a peek into people's lives. This one just has sponges, jam or jelly, alcohol, wine, and suppositories.
In its few short years, grocerylists.org has gathered more than 4,000 lists from across the world.
Iowa, California, Indiana, New York,
each of which
Georgia.
Kagi catalogs by hand.
Every list gets counted and scanned and will end up on the site someday. There's no editing. I just scan them all in, and 100 to a page, and you click on the thumbnails and page through in the same way that I've got to when I open these envelopes.
Over the years, he's become something of an expert profiler.
Looking at all these lists, at so many over the years, I think I've figured out what they mean. If it's annotated, like what aisle something's in, I think it's a list for a husband from a wife, because he doesn't know where to find things. If it's kind of shaky handwriting, it's probably an older person, especially if it says cakes and cookies. Some of them, just the contents, you can read into the life, I think, whether it's a lot of misspellings or obviously unhealthy selection of food.
Unexpectedly, Kagi's expertise, his diligence, and his museum's popularity led the project in a new direction.
A publisher contacted me and said, do you want to turn this into a book? Which was totally out of the blue. Stuff for the juicer, vitamins, granola, organic veggies. And then at the bottom, tush cleaner. It ended up being called Milk Eggs Vodka, Grocery List Lost and Found. And it's basically the best, the worst, the saddest, the funniest, the weirdest, one of the funnier ones. They're getting beer, meaning that they're getting Bud Light and they're also getting good beer. We're not having tacos tonight, we're having toga shells. One of the really nice things about a collection like this and putting it online is that you don't have to take care of it. I mean, all these lists just end up in this bag or in boxes. For having 5,000 or so of something, it's a pretty small investment in space. This person was so proud and happy. All it had on it was AAA batteries and lube. I have more lists than I can post at this moment, and I suppose that's a good problem to have. Just knowing that the project is kind of continuing and branching out and not just staying the same exact thing is satisfying and keeps it fun.